Oh, I love these mornings on the deck outside our camper, just enjoying the nice cool weather before we get started on some trim work. Wait, what? Where's my camper? Come on. Yeah, I forgot my car's in the shop. Where's all the steel? I'm missing like 30 pieces. Hey, yeah, I'm missing like 30 pieces. All my soffit steel is not in the crate. I ordered it back in February. Well, yeah, I know it's September now, but the pieces aren't here. I just opened the box. Okay, I'll reorder. Wow, these doors are beautiful. Really love them. Can't wait to get the finish on them. Wait, what? Why would you do that? Why would you not bring the threshold all the way out to the edge of the door frame? Have you guys ever had one of those weeks where it just seems like everything you touch blows up in your face? That's kind of been this week for us. So I thought I'd change it up a little bit on this video. You guys have been asking some great questions on the build, both for the house and the garage, and I wanted to highlight some of those questions. So today's question is going to be from a Longtobe134. Let's get into it. So Longtobe asked, what were the pros and cons of this steel board and batten siding? Let's start out with the pros. All right, Longtobe, this is probably the biggest pro to using this type of siding. It is the durability. You'll have to excuse my rooster. He's being very vocal this morning. The durability on this stuff is second to none in my opinion, which is why we decided to use it. It's a 26 gauge steel board and batten siding, and this stuff is tough. It's going to last a long time. Typically manufacturers are giving you a 30-year paint warranty on these, depending on who you go through, but that's very typical. And in all honesty, if the paint does fade on it, you can always repaint this stuff without having to take it back off. I hopefully won't ever have to do that, but it is a possibility. Now, the other thing that's nice about this stuff is there's no exposed fasteners, so you don't have to worry about those little neoprene washers on your exposed screws UV drying out and cracking and causing leaks. There are no exposed fasteners. There's never going to be any leaks in this siding. The second benefit to this type of siding is there's no taking your leftover scraps to the landfill. This can all be recycled. And to kind of go along with that, all these panels can be cut to the length to the inch. So waste is very minimal. It's a very efficient way to side your house. The biggest con, in my opinion, to using this type of siding is oil canning. With steel siding, in the heat and cooling of the day, it likes to expand and contract. And with this type of system, you're going to get some oil canning. Now, you can minimize that. You can do a couple of things. One, go with a thicker siding instead of a 29 gauge steel siding, which is probably what you're going to find in like your tough rib barn siding application. Go a little thicker. This is a 26 gauge, so it's a little thicker than the 29, and it helps minimize that oil canning effect. The other thing you can do is use striations in your panels. Now, if you wanted to do that, you're going to lose the board and batten effect because you have a flat panel or a flat portion of the panel. This is where you're going to get your oil canning, or it's going to be noticeable in these panels. You can also go with a matte finish. If you go with a shiny finish on your steel, a shiny paint, the oil canning in the sun is going to be a little bit more apparent. With a matte finish, it's less visible. One more negative behind this type of material, when you use it for your siding, it's going to become very apparent very quickly, even before you take delivery of this stuff, is the cost. It's very expensive to put this stuff on, the initial upfront cost. However, over the life of the system, I think it is very comparable to a vinyl siding, because vinyl, if you're going to be in the home for more than 30 years, your vinyl is probably going to be UV degraded. It's going to be brittle, crack. You can punch holes in it, rocks, stones, hail, which Longtobe you know about. This stuff is going to be impervious to that. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's expensive up front, the initial cost, but over the life of the product, I think it is very comparable to any other type of siding that you may decide to use. The last downside to this type of material is the trim work can be a little tricky. Putting the panels up is pretty simple, but doing your corner trims, your flashings around the windows, and your capstone stuff is all a little bit tricky. Now, I'm gonna help with that process when we get to the house, board and batten siding install, because we're gonna put the same stuff on the house. I'll get into a little more of the details of how I'm doing the trim work, because I think that's important to get yourself a good finished product and a weather-tight barrier for the exterior side of your house. Longtobe, I hope that answers your question as to the pros and cons behind using this type of board and batten siding. Great question, by the way. Guys, keep those good questions coming, and I'll hopefully feature yours in an upcoming video. That's all I have for you today. We'll see you on the next video.